Hey everybody, welcome to the Entrepreneur Power Hour. Yeah, I'm Kareem again with your topic, getting over negativity and conflict. I used to have problems with that when people would make fun of me or tell me my dreams weren't possible. But finally, I started believing in myself. I started not taking life so seriously, and I just started enjoying the little things. And I was able to get over most negative and most conflictive situations in my life. But don't just take my word for it. We have Rick, Cheryl, Chris, Dada. We have David H. Paul, Karen, and Stefan. So I want to hear from you guys. How did you get over conflict or negativity in your personal or your business life, different situations?
Dream?
Yes, David.
Hey, there's Chris. All right.
Yeah, I'm here, bro. Go for it.
You know, something that's really interesting, I'm going to pop on the video quick here because I've gotten in this habit of doing this. All right.
I like that.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you've heard about this course, but Rick and Cheryl and Kareem and Chris and myself and that guy named Rick that was on here just moments ago, we kind of know all about this. We're learning this. We're actually in this course for a year. It's called Pay Me What I'm Worth. Interesting title, eh? You know, it's very interesting. Before we even got into chapter 1 in that book, as a group, as a team, before we could even crack chapter 1, we had to sign a contract that said, you will not come personally, you are not allowed to do the work in this book, in this course, if you are coming from doubt, guilt, shame, or worry. Personally, inside. So, isn't that now doubt, guilt, shame, and worry? And one of the things I've discovered for myself over 25 plus years of hardcore personal development is that anytime I want to, I can go back and I can look at my history. Doubt, guilt, shame, and worry have been personally the four main things, plus, well, fear. But the cruxes of every situation where I have felt that I am not worthy, where I have felt that I'm personally not worthy. And what I've discovered in terms of conflict resolution, in terms of you know, being able to handle negative situations, I don't attract negative people anymore into my life because I don't come from doubt, guilt, shame, and worry. Since I don't attract them, I actually have developed what I consider to be negative person repellent. Because I'm so darn happy, so positive most of the time. If you're living in any kind of doubt, guilt, shame, and worry, you're going to look at me and go, oh, Pollyanna. I want nothing to do with that Pollyanna. Oh my God, he makes me sick because he's just too darn sugary. You know what? I like it that way. Because then I don't ever have to get into conflict. I don't have to get into nonsense. I don't have to get into for me stories. And boy, it's been working pretty darn good. Building a really, really strong nonprofit organization over at National Seizure Disorders Foundation, one person at a time. We got a board member. We got a board of 6 amazing people who all are very, very much focusing on the positive and in their own personal lives, are getting amazing results, and are becoming you know, some of the strongest leaders in the nonprofit sector. So, proof's in the pudding, you know. That's my take, and you guys can take it from there. I'm going to listen today.
Very cool. I like that a lot, David. And Kareem and I will make a better effort to get there. Last Wednesday we had our Blog Talk Radio. That's why we couldn't make it to your wake up, and we'll because I really wanted to hear that last week, our Blog Talk Radio we had. But anyway, I really like the way that you mentioned that you just avoid negative people and you avoid their energy. I think that's very, very critical. I'm doing that too. I'm slowly figuring out who my real friends are and who's not. And
you know what I have to do? I actually take it to a different level.
Sure, go ahead.
I actually take it to a personal responsibility level, and I ask myself, where are my emotions? What am I focusing on personally?
Yeah.
What am I giving out to other people? In other words,
Yep.
you will every single time attract what you are giving out. So if you don't like your friends, you might want to go look in the mirror.
That's very true.
And that's for me. That's what I do, and I have to go back and I have to say, nah, don't point the finger, David.
Yeah.
When I am not feeling good about my relationships, or if I'm not feeling good about what's happening, in my organization, the people I surround myself with, hey, I'm creating that. I have personal responsibility for it. And, of course, there are people that you'll have to get rid of. You'll have to say goodbye to because you just don't line up with, and that's a part of the deal. But it all starts with number one. I got to go look at myself in the mirror.
I like it. I think one of the biggest aspects we forget is, at the end of the day, only we can control what we feel inside. So as long as we don't let other people control that by what they do, we'll be fine. That was all I had. You can go.
Yeah. And a lot of people will say, well, that's a pretty damn tall order. I mean, you don't know what I've been through. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like, you have no idea what I've been through. And one of the things that Chris and Kareem have got a little taste for is what some of the folks that we serve with seizure disorders go through on a daily basis.
Yes.
You look at them and you look at the leaders that they are, and you look at what they overcome on a daily basis just to show up on our shows. And honest to God, to the person, Chris, you know this. You've asked yourself, what the hell's my excuse?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's like, wow, man.
Yeah, I mean, if those people can show up and they're doing everything they can to be happy and to change their lives, then none of us have any excuses that are not suffering with those debilitating conditions.
Well, yeah, and here's what they're doing. All they're doing is they're making a decision on a daily basis about how they're going to feel.
Yeah.
And they're saying, I'm in control of my emotions right now.
Yes.
They get present, and they're learning. They're learning how to do that. And we're learning how to do that and Pay Me What I'm Worth, one chapter at a time, one aha moment at a time, one layer at a time. Right, guys?
Oh, yeah. It's been incredible. We're only 2 months in, and I am just so happy that I decided to do this for myself. And I really think that everyone in this class, we all belong together because we have such, I think all of us are very strongly opinionated, and I think it works well. And I think as eclectic of a group as we are, I think we all share the same type of personality traits in a lot of ways because we're all so damn opinionated. And we're not afraid to say what's on our minds and mean what we say, and I think that that's very important. And if for anybody watching, if you have negative people in your life, and you're trying to build a business or you're trying to do personal development, it's going to be very difficult for you to succeed unless you either cut them off completely or you limit the contact you have with those people, because it's going to sabotage you and make you feel pretty lousy when you're trying to build yourself up and you got someone around you constantly that's bringing you down. You're just going to stay stuck in the same place. You're going to go 1 step forward and 2 steps back instead of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So you're not really going to be making as much progress as you could be if you were to completely get rid of those people. And don't feel bad if you have to do that, because that's part of growing and that's part of evolving. And Kareem has been just incredible as a friend and a brother, and he's mentored me and I mentor him, and we kind of share that role together. And we've gotten each other through a lot of really difficult times, and we're always there for each other. So that's a perfect example of a good friend right there. And I'm interested to hear from Dada, and then Stefan's been unmuted for a while. So after Dada, if you'd like to go ahead, you can, and then we'll go to Stefan.
Oh yeah, thanks, Chris.
You're welcome. Good to see you, man. How you doing?
You too. It's good to see you guys again.
Thank you so much.
Oh, namaskar to you too, Kareem.
Yeah.
I just returned from the US a couple of days ago, so I was recovering from jet lag, but I'm better now. I'd just like to apologize. Last time I was on, I was in a rural area in North Carolina, and I dropped out halfway through, so sorry for that, and I couldn't get back on again.
Cheers, man. No problem.
But I want to say, first of all, I really like what David said, and I really love his spirit. You know, you got to put as much positivity out there as you can. I love that. Basically, what I want to say is that, yes, it's true. I think it's true that you need to make yourself as positive as possible, no doubt, and try to avoid conflicting situations and negative people. But at the same time, I think it's important to recognize that it's not possible to avoid conflicting situations and negative people entirely. And I think the important thing is how you deal with conflicting situations and negative people rather than avoiding them. Because negative situations and conflict and obstacles is part of life. And whenever you want to achieve something, of course, you're always going to encounter obstacles. There's always resistance to movement. So if you really want to achieve something great, you're not going to be able to achieve it without conflict and obstacles. And I think the important thing is how you deal with those conflict and obstacles. As David was saying, I think part of David's perspective was that you deal with these things with a very positive perspective, in a positive angle. So that's basically what I want to say. That, and I think, Kareem, you also alluded to it when you said that you make your own reality by how you react to situations. So I think the important thing is to work on how you can see these things in the right perspective, and so that they don't affect you negatively, so that you can keep as much of a positive spin on it as possible, and then you can achieve great things. Like, for example, you know, we've got these great people like Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela, who, you know, faced incredible obstacles, incredible negativity and conflict, but they achieved really great things. So I think if we're going to achieve great things in our life personally and also for the society, of course we need to keep as positive as possible, but at the same time we need to acknowledge that we're not going to be able to avoid negativity in circumstances and people, and we should try and really maximize how we you know, turn it around, turn every negative situation around to a positive. So that's basically what I want to say.
I like it a lot.
That was good.
Yeah. Yeah, and thank you so much for coming back, Dada. We appreciate you, man. And
oh, it's great to be here.
Yeah, you bring such incredible insight into everything. And it's because you've been practicing your meditation for so long, and it shows, Dada. Go ahead, sorry.
What I'm conveying is it's not coming from me. It's just the yogic wisdom that I've been taught. You know, yes. So I'm just conveying that ancient yogic wisdom, which you know obviously is a great wisdom, and it's not coming from me.
Very true. Very true. All right, thank you, Dada. Stefan, you've been unmuted for a little while. Thank you for coming, my friend. How are you today?
I'm great, thanks. Hope you guys are doing well.
Yes. Go for it, Stefan. You got the floor.
Okay, awesome. So what I want to say, Dada, great to meet you. Thank you very much. I totally agree with what you said, because I also had the personal experience that accepting negativity, especially I'm in the home-based business niche, and negativity is something that you have in my industry from 80 to 90% every single day, and so you have to master this. And I think it's if you accept, and it's very important that you accept negativity, and it's a kind of natural part of your way to success. And I think if you switch your mindset from accepting negativity and seeing as natural as possible, and seeing it as a challenge, that it's way easier for you to overcome that negativity. And it's also, negativity is, for me, it equals failure. And I learned by myself during the experiences I had that failure is something good. It's something positive for me, because every time I failed in what I did with my business and building it up, it helped me to achieve something better. And so I can say I almost love failure because it's a natural process. It's a natural part of the way to achieve my goals. And what I also think is very, very important is to think about your relationships on a regular basis, to upgrade your relationships, and to look around you and see what kind of people I'm surrounding myself, and to stay away from negative people, of course, as good as possible. But as I mentioned, you can't avoid it, that negative people will come in your life, and so it's your way how you overcome that negative stuff. And what I did for me, it's also always personal development. And I learned this in my industry, in the network marketing industry. Every great leader and speaker tells you do personal development, and it's always there's a difference between saying something and doing something. And I struggle for that, about consistent daily personal development for a long time. And since I do personal development every single day, and read books not only one time or two times or three times, but 5 or 6 or 10 times even, then there are things, then the faith comes in, and the faith that nothing is going to stop you, whatever obstacle or negative thing comes in. And so I think it's to overcome negativity is to do personal development, positive things, feed your mind like a healthy breakfast every single day, and just accept the negativity, and see it as a natural part of the process, of the path to your success, whatever you want to achieve in your life. And if you have that mindset that you accept negativity, then what else will harm you, I think. And there's an awesome proverb from Les Brown. I mentioned this in the last Entrepreneur Power Hour. Les Brown is one of my favorite trainers and speakers, and he always says in most every single speech or webinar or seminar he does, he says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. And that's it. Huge, very, very huge for me personally. So that's it for now.
That was like speech of the year.
So
very good, Stefan. Yeah, you're so right, man. And I look at failure the same way. You know, I wouldn't have met people like Rick and Cheryl and David H. Paul and Kareem and yourself and Mr. Dada over here if I didn't have to go through a lot of different things to get here. And now we have our own YouTube show, and these two, Rick and Cheryl, come as a couple now. I mean, that I'm so honored that his wife has become interested, you know. And there's Cindy Ashline. Welcome, Cindy. Thank you for being
Hi.
here.
I
And
could make it.
yeah, that's all right. You're here. Thank you. And you know, persistence has paid off because now me and Kareem can bring our wisdom to the world, and people have a platform now on our show where they can come and bring their wisdom to the world, and we can share and we can grow and we can offer value to people online who are entrepreneurial and want personal development. They want that growth, and they want that group, that to feel like they're connected to people and to something greater than themselves. And I love that we go so far with this show as to talk about every aspect of being an entrepreneur, not just the business side of it or how much money that person's going to make. And oh yeah, those are my kitties, Cindy, are in the background there, Cindy. And I think that it's so vital that we just keep moving forward, and we're going to add more and more content to the show. You know, we always are doing YouTube videos, or we're working on the website, or we're working on a book together. And we also are doing polls now right on the page where you can vote on which topics you'd like to see. We also have another poll that I create with easypolls.net that asks people what kinds of value they got from the show. What did they learn? And so I mean we're trying to keep that engagement alive for people so that people can feel like they're part of the show, which they are. You know, you all make this happen for us, and I really appreciate it. So Rick and Cheryl, go ahead. We haven't heard from you yet. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Chris. I was just going to add that one of my ways of avoiding the conflict and everything is also to stay positive and try to keep it on a positive outlook and everything. But one of my other things is that I try to put myself in their shoes. Like, where are they coming from? Like, did they have a bad day? Don't they feel good? Do they have a headache? You know, stuff like that. And try to look at it from their point of view too, because I know that not everybody's on the same page, and I know that I look at things a lot different than a lot of other people do, and I know Rick does too. And you know, somebody might be angered from something that we say when we really don't mean it to be bad. A lot of times, like Kareem says, it's how a person takes it. And that's really important to know within yourself that you mean well, and just because a person takes it bad and something angers them, you didn't really do it on purpose. It's how it affects them and where they're at. Anything to add to that?
I think that as I grow as an individual and understand myself more, that I'm able to handle conflict better, and it doesn't really bother me as much as it used to. I take it as like a learning experience, like a growth experience. But I received my second black belt by staying out of conflict for 20 years and not using my art for any type of self-defense. And that is really what martial arts is about to me. It's having the knowledge of it, but never having to use it, and being able to avoid all types of conflicts, especially, you know, when you're a surfer and there's a lot of machoism going on out there, and it's a very competitive arena, so you need to be careful. But what do you say, Cindy?
Okay, well, I like what Cheryl said. I mean, it's true. It's how the person takes it. I think that sounds right on. That's, you know, I'm just saying that really does. And I don't like conflict. You know, I don't like them. So I try and stay out of it. And if I don't associate with people that cause conflict and drama. If, I try to, I stay away from that. Because we were taught in personal development in our last class that we don't need to associate with people that cause us a lot of drama and negativity and negative energy.
Dada, you want to add something? Go for it.
Yeah, I think it's right what Cheryl said, that you also have to put yourself in other people's shoes and try and really feel where they're coming from, because often someone may feel to you as though they're negative or conflicting, but there's a reason why they are. So I think that's another important aspect, that if you can put yourself in their shoes and really try to feel where they're coming from, maybe they're not intending to be conflicting or negative, and maybe if you can feel where they're coming from, then you can help them to overcome, whatever is making them appear conflicting or negative. So I like that point.
Well, certainly, Dada, what is like what you were saying, it's a personal responsibility issue. Like if you perceive someone as negative and conflictatory or whatever that word is, I don't know what you call it, but then that's how they're going to be. And a lot of people, confront me or whatever, and I think basically that they're being pricks. But then when I look at myself more, then I look into myself, I realize, hey, I think I was the one being a prick, and that's why they came across to me like that. So I like to look at myself and take personal responsibility for the stuff that's coming at me too, and not just like try to say, well, I'm going to avoid these negative people because I feel that they're negative to me, So I don't know what anyone feels about that. But.
Right, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, it's often when you have conflict with someone that well, there's a kind of a concept, I think, that if you have a conflict with someone, it's got as much to do with you as it has to do with the other person. So it's never a one-way street. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. I think it's also important to self-reflect why you're having conflict, because it's also got to do with your own personal karma as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of great points coming out. Yeah.
Yeah, man. See, here's the thing, how I look at it. You can either choose to argue, or you can choose to go, you know what? I'll let you be right, because keeping peace is more important. And I'm getting to that point. I am a very, very opinionated person. And I'm very confrontational, but I am learning that that's not important anymore. I don't want to be confrontational anymore, or coming from a place of ego where I have to be right, because at the end of the day, it's not important who's right or wrong, because that's just subjective anyway. I mean, everybody has differing opinions, and they have different ideas of what they think is right and what they identify with. And the way we form convictions between what's right and wrong is the emotions that we identify with. So something that I think is totally right, somebody else may think is totally wrong, and it's based on our emotional responses to those types of stimuli and situations. That's how we gauge our moral compass. That's how we gauge our ethics and our values. Our moral values is based off of how we feel about certain things and situations, and being in those situations or seeing others in those types of situations. That's how we base right and wrong. It's all subjective opinion, and how your emotions resonate with those certain situations, like I said. And oh, welcome. We got Patricia here now. Welcome, Patricia.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. Stefan, feel free to go ahead, buddy. I see you're unmuted.
Just want to throw in a quick thing. I totally agree with you what you said, Chris, and I think there are some people who may appear to us negative because they are really ancient in their thinking or in their way they see some things. Like for me, when I said, okay, I try to build my network marketing business online. So when you talk with people that are building a network marketing business offline, they say, why the heck are you doing this? And I'm from Germany, for people who don't know me, and so most people in Germany say to me, why are you doing this? Why don't you do this in Germany only? And so for me, it disappears negative. But I don't, yeah, but that's how I see the things. And some people are yeah, really old-fashioned in their thinking, and what I do is then, like you said, Chris, is to don't convince an old tree. Yeah, that's in Germany a translated proverb, and so to convince somebody for instance, when I say, hey, building an online business, it's you can leverage the internet or something like that. And when you tell this someone in this industry who building his business offline, then you bite out your teeth. Yes. So this costs a lot of energy, and I think then sometimes it's better to avoid that and to say, okay, you're right with what you're doing. I'm right with, or I think I'm right with what I'm doing. So why we should continue the conversation? Yeah. So I think it's really important to save our energy for something positive instead of firing out your whole ammo to convince somebody who's already negative, and you can't change them. So don't try to change anyone who has an ancient thinking.
I agree, Stefan, and I see Patricia's unmuted. Do you want to add something, Patricia?
No, that is right. I think that start an online business is very hard in the beginning. It's always you have to work every day, every night, and it's necessary for see results in the future. So we have to keep hustling, just that.
Anybody else want to add some stuff? Somebody unmute and keep the conversation going. Kareem? Where'd everybody go? You guys are here, Cheryl and Rick. Okay.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, go ahead, man. I don't know why nobody's unmuting.
It got cut off.
She must have got cut off and didn't want to be rude or something like that. I don't know. Cindy, what do you think?
Okay, well, this is what I wrote here. I decided it's more about not wanting to be with people who like to create drama or start a fight. For my peace and health, I need to keep my distance from those people, even if they are close family members. We get to decide who we want to be with. That does not raise our blood pressure and upset us.
That's very true. Yeah, we got to be very careful who we're letting into our head, and
right,
who we're letting influence us.
Because then, you know, if you're even when those people aren't with you, you're preoccupied with. There's all this preoccupation in your mind and everything, and it's like they don't even have to be with you. They're just, you know, they're naggers, they're nitpickers, and it just drives you crazy. You have a lot of this. I learned a lot about this. There's a lot of negative energy. Like sometimes you and someone else have a lot of, between the two of you, that's just a lot of negative energy. I've been studying about some different things.
Yep, absolutely, I agree.
And
I agree with you, Cindy. It's very important to keep your peace within yourself, and
this is why we lots of times prefer being with animals, because people can be a real pain in the neck, can't they, Chris?
That's right. Yep, you're absolutely right.
You know, our animals love us unconditionally.
Yep, a lot of times I like being with my pig. I hang out with my pig and for most of the day even, and go just walk around with her as she's digging around in the yard or whatever, and what I learned that the more, for me anyways, the more set I am within myself and the more grounded that I am and the less judgmental, the more understanding I become to myself and the more understanding that I can be to other people. Because if I don't understand myself, for me, I don't know about everyone else, I'm saying me, like if I can't understand myself, there's no way I'm going to understand what everybody else is going through. So I'm really working on understanding myself and being mindful of my thoughts, watching, what's going through my head, and sort of like how Cindy did, like write it down, and keep a good eye on what, and be in control of my thoughts and my body, my mind. I mean, that's just me. I don't know about everyone else, what they're doing, but.
Yeah, and then you make a good point that we have control over how we react to people in situations, and I think it's important for us to put aside our analytical side, like Mr. Soul Dancer tells us, and explore everything and just get a feel for what's happening, why there's conflict, and then make the decision to say, okay, you know what, you wanna argue, that's okay, but I'm not gonna argue about this because I don't have enough energy to expel on this conversation, and I don't want to feel crappy or down or hurt anybody's feelings here, so I'm just going to shut my mouth and walk away. And I think that's a very strong thing to do, because a lot of people will just stand there and keep arguing and arguing and debating. And for me, I just don't like doing it anymore because it's, here's the thing. No, you're never going to convince somebody else of your perception. And they're always going to have their own perception no matter what you say and no matter what your opinion is. So I think that it's very important for people to just understand that and to identify that with themselves that they have their own perception and that their perception is just as valid as somebody else's, or their emotions are just as valid as someone else's. And I really want to hear from Mr. David H. Paul or anybody who's going to unmute now and talk about this some more.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, I put my 2 cents in right off the bat at the beginning of the show, and yeah, I personally choose to fall on the side of my own personal responsibility with how I feel. And I have found that other people around me kind of change. They kind of change and get a little less negative, a little more positive, as I can hold my own space of peace, my own space of good feeling. And I've also found, I really like, Cindy, I'm so sorry I didn't mean to hit the wrong button there. You had a good point about animals. I love dogs. I've had many dogs that I could probably talk to better than I can talk to my human. And it was interesting because animals really do show us this path to being present. They show us how to be present. They show us how to make life effortless. And if we stop and really pay attention and create and really focus on those relationships, we learn a lot about our relationship with ourselves. We learn a lot about our relationship with our higher power. We learn a lot about our relationships with other humans as well. And if you look at how, I think about my really friendly dog, Oreo. She looked just like an Oreo cookie. And she would literally want to run and greet and play with everybody that she came in, every person, human she came in contact with, no matter who they were. And it was interesting though, because it took a little training, but I got her to the point where she would look to me first and wait for me to give her the okay to go say hi. And that was kind of neat. But boy, when she got that okay, look out, here she comes. She's gonna jump on you and give you a big kiss and want to hang out and do a dance with you.
Right on.
But those relationships, those animal relationships, animals and trees and nature, they really show us how to understand that there's this balance, and the balance starts with peace. The balance starts with allowing. I'd love to hear Dada talk about allowing.
Yeah, Dada, do you want to segue into allowance and acceptance?
Hello, Dada.
Oops,
Sorry. Oh,
There he
sorry.
is.
I was trying to find the button.
Everybody's camera's off too for some reason, but
Yeah, we discovered.
Well, mine's out.
I discovered that function, so I was just playing around with it.
cool. Go ahead, Dada.
No, I don't really have anything much to say, other than I think it's important that, you know, in order to maintain the right perspective, I think it's important to practice introspective practice like meditation, because that gives the cosmic perspective, the overall perspective on any situation. And another thing which is inherent in the whole yoga philosophy is that whatever we experience is due to our past karma. Is due to our karma. So what we've gone through in the past, what we did in the past, will determine what we experience in the present and the future, and who we encounter in the present and the future. So I think it's important to remember that regardless of you know, like you may perceive someone as positive or negative or conducive to your own personality or conflicting, but it's important also to keep in mind that whoever you encounter, or whichever situation you encounter, whether it's positive, whether you perceive it to be positive or negative, it's part of your karma, it's part of your journey, and it's not something to be so much avoided as to, you know, to work through. You know, if someone is completely enlightened, for example, they won't perceive anybody or anything as being conflicting, because they see it all as part of the cosmic drama. So I think this is also an important thing to keep in mind, that whatever's happening is happening for a reason.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Would you agree with that, Kareem?
I would absolutely agree with that, because a lot of times we're trying to fight circumstances instead of trying to see why they happen and work around them. Like, we just lost our singer in our band just before the show, and I'm like, oh God, what do I do? Well, I'm like, I have a show to do, but we're putting that on Craigslist, and maybe, you know, this wasn't his time, or maybe he'll come back. Who knows? But what we're going to do is just work around the circumstance instead of saying, well, the universe is punishing me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I see, yeah, Patricia, you're unmuted. Do you have anything else you'd like to say, my friend? We'd like to hear from you. You're new on the show, and we like to hear from new people as well, so feel free to chime in and add your insight anytime you'd like. Patricia?
Okay, thank you. No, I don't have anything to say. I really enjoy listening all different ideas. So that's all.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Stefan, go ahead. I see you're unmuted.
Yes, just a quick thought. I think what I learned is, of course, to take 100% responsibility for everything I do, and for everything I did in the past. That's why the present and the present is so, because I did some things in the past that happened to me. But what I think, I experienced a lot of negative things in the past. But when I had some times, some tough times where I thought, where I took the things that I did and experienced in the past to determine my future. But I think we don't have to think about that the negative things we experience in the past don't have to be the things we experience in the future. And this is very important. Yeah? So just to throw it in for a second. because all the things in the past we had negative experience doesn't have to be our destiny, that this is our future. I think this is very important to keep that in mind. I hope you got my idea.
Yeah, no, we got it. That's very important too. Yeah, I really like what you said there.
And I like what Dada said about meditation being really important. That's supposed to be very helpful. I have some tapes from Bill Harris. He owns the Centerpoint Research Institute. And I like yoga and Pilates is great too. And I learned about, Bob Proctor too. I learned about Bill Harris, and then there's Natalie Ledwell, Mind Movies and things like that. I don't know if any of you have heard of them, but Bob Proctor is the one that is how I found out about all these other people. There's some good stuff.
Yeah, they do. I see David H. Paul and Dot are unmuted. One of you guys can go first and then let the other one talk.
Okay. I really love what Stefan was conveying there, and if I could, guys, and I know we're coming up on the top of your hour here.
Oh no, we do an hour and a half. Don't worry.
Hour and a half, okay. Yeah. The hour and a half. I love it.
Yeah.
False advertisement.
Yeah, might have to. Yeah, it's good false advertisement at that, because you get more bang for your buck here, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So one of the things that came up for me when Stefan was talking was a tool I learned. Now, I'm a very controversial teacher, or a teacher that a lot of people have found controversy in. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Abraham, of the Abraham Hicks fame. But Abraham is kind of some folks kind of go, oh no, you don't go there. That's kind of woo woo. Some lady, channeling God. Yeah, maybe not so much. So it can, some folks can get a little turned off by that, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. But one of the things I had to let go of my own resistance when in studying Abraham or listening, just being able to listen, without judging was a big deal for me. And again, one of the things that I learned a tool, and I wanted to just share it with you guys, and it might be kind of hard to understand. It's called generalizing the situation. Like Stefan was talking about how, our past mistakes or failures or situations or relationships or memories, they don't have to dictate our future necessarily. In other words, we can pattern interrupt. We can create, in this present moment, a different version of the story. And I would like to offer up an example of that, and it might stir up some feelings for you, and if it does, just allow them to go away, okay? Because they're it's just, so I'm going to tell a story from you, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the negative end of the stick, the bad feelings I had, and I'm going to show you guys how I generalized it to a point where I could be okay with it, okay? So just so you know what's coming. All right. So recently I came across a picture book that my mom had created. It was actually her history in pictures. Her history, and she's up in near 80 now. And back in 2001, she gave me this picture book as a gift, and I set it up on the shelf and didn't even look at it until just a couple of weeks ago when I was doing this little project about finding my material worth. And when I sat down with this picture book, I kind of got a queasy feeling before I even opened it. But I thought, you know what? It's about time you look. I had resistance about going back and looking at my past, especially my past as in my early adulthood when I was in between the ages of 25 and 40. I had some issues. I had some things that I didn't like about myself during that time frame. I felt I wasn't a very good dad. I felt I wasn't a very good husband. I felt like I wasn't a very good employee or business partner. I really felt like I had some failure issues around memories that I was hanging on to. Okay, so I'm looking through these pictures, this picture book, and I get to this section, and it's all about me, right? And there are pictures of me with my kids. And there are pictures with me with my ex-wife. There are pictures of me with, you know, people I worked with, you know, that were fellow employees and businesses and in jobs I had. And I was looking through each of these, and former clients I had served in those jobs. And I'm looking through these pictures, and I had this notion, as I'm remembering those memories, and I'm thinking, God, you know, geez, I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you did that. And I'm not going to go into all the details, but I was just really beating up on myself. And you really weren't a very good parent. You really sucked at that, you know. And look at all the jobs you've had. You've had more jobs than most people have changes of underwear in their life, you know. And I was just really getting down on myself and really kind of pulling out my own personal hammer and beating myself with the past. And I caught myself in that moment, and I went, wait a second. Wait a minute a second. I'm looking at pictures, but I'm looking at them through my eyes. And my eyes might not be very accurate. I might have some really rose-colored glasses here, or some black-colored glasses even. I might have a weird tint I'm looking through here. You know, look, I might have a weird tint, you know. And I wonder how my mom looked at this. So I went back through that section of pictures from the time I was a toddler up until that 2001. So what was that? Almost 15 years ago, right? And I went back and I looked at it again, trying to see it from my mom's eyes. And what I saw was loving dad, a husband that did his level best, really tried hard. I saw, you know, I've had the good grace of being able to serve a lot of people in a way that's helped them. And along the way, I've learned a lot about myself. Along the way, I've gained some amazing lifelong friends. And I looked a little deeper, and I thought, my mom sees my life differently than I did. My mom sees that part of my life differently. She sees my history as being a thumbs up, as positive. And gosh, if my mom sees it that way, I wonder how God sees it. And then I thought, well, what do I know about my experience with God as I understand God? Well, God didn't make any junk, and He made me. When I came into my earth suit, according to my understanding of God, I was perfect when I came into my earth suit. That's never changed in God's eyes. And so that means I'm still perfect just the way I am, and I don't have to change a thing. All I have to do is get at that place where I can find that God within me that never changed, that came into this earth suit and is going to leave this earth suit the same way. It doesn't change. And I thought, God sees me as perfect, so what's my excuse? Wow. I guess I can make a shift here, and I can say, I did the level best I could. I did my level best, and it was pretty good because I've got 4 frickin' amazing young adult children who are setting the world on fire with their passions. They're following their bliss just like their dad taught them. Wow. I have all of these friendships, long-term friendships from all of the service work I've done over the years. All these amazing friends. And they keep growing every single day. Heck, there are 4 or 5 of them right here in this room right now that are new friends, that are lifelong, going to be lifelong partners of mine in changing this world one person at a time, and I know that. And then I thought, wow, all those years that I thought were negative years, I was laying the groundwork in myself for becoming the servant I want to be, which is what, you know, someone who taught us, some of us might know this phrase, a mentor with a servant's heart. I take that very personally, and what's interesting is I now understand it even more because I took the time to go back, take a look at those old memories, allow myself to experience them again, but then generalize or reframe them into more of what's probably the truth, more accurately, or at least something that feels better, that now moving forward into the future, I'm no longer dragging that memory from the past with me as an albatross, as a bag of garbage, as you know, you hear that saying, people come with baggage. Yeah, not that one anymore. because I've let it go. I've reframed it, and whatever baggage it is, it's good baggage, and I can share something very very positive and I have something additional to give that has value. Wow. So Stefan's right on. You know, your past does not have to dictate your future. It certainly doesn't have to dictate your present, but it does require learning and developing some tools, you know, to be able to kind of do a pattern interrupt in there.
Yeah, I agree. You have to be very mindful of what you're carrying on your back and how much weight you're carrying from your past experiences with people and situations and all that stuff. Cindy, you want to say something, I see?
Well, I just wanted to ask David Paul, you said you have 4 children. I have 3. Do you have boys and girls?
Yeah, boys and girls. I have actually 3 girls and a boy in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're interesting.
Girls are outnumbered then, but at least you got the boy too. Okay.
Yeah, the girls kind of dominate, and the boy has experienced his share of interesting experiences with that. He's done his share of shopping. Let's just put it that way.
The boy's in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. Stefan, how are you doing, man? Do you wanna add something? Cheryl, anybody? Cheryl and Rick are unmuted. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that one of the important things that I learned over the years was that you just have to let it go. You know, you can't let people get under your skin. You can't dwell on what they say. You just have to let it go, roll off your back, and go on and live as positive of a life as you can. And, you know, people aren't going to agree totally with what you do or how you act or anything, you know. It's your life. You have to live your life the way you want and just let go of how everybody else wants you to live it.
I totally agree with that, because when I started pursuing my music and I started a band, or I started being an entrepreneur, or I just got ideas that maybe weren't necessarily like quote unquote mainstream that I wanted to do, a lot of people would question those and say, like, how are you going to be successful with that? Is that really a good idea? You should just stick to what you're doing now, which was a 9-to-5 job. And part of me said that if I don't ever pursue my dream when I'm young and hang out with the people who are interested in doing that, like you guys here and other people I meet, I'm never going to be able to do that and always be in conflict, not only with other people, but with myself, because I'm not pursuing what I really feel I should be. So that's my take on that.
Wow. Wish I'd have learned that at your age.
There's still time.
Sure is.
But yeah, I think Chris is away, but like Stefan, just like to get a perspective on that, like you said you were tired of just doing the regular routine and you wanted to break out, like stop the 9-to-5 and do and I'm sure like people may have said like, oh, that's impossible, or well, how many people, because when I was trying to do this or anything else, there'd be people like, well, how many people really do that? Or I don't know any millionaires that are in MLM, or I don't know any millionaires doing Google Plus Hangouts, why don't you just quit? So
I think what's really important is what Cheryl said, and I totally agree with that. As what I learned in my young years already. I'm 29 at the moment.
oh boy, I'm 27, so you're making me feel old.
Okay, awesome. Is
Pull out that cane here.
to let it go, and I think we should all be ambitious and should pursue our goals, and but yeah, to let some things go makes it much easier. When I started in the network marketing industry, this was the classic way. My first upline came to me and said, okay, Stefan, go there, write down a list with 100 people, and then you call all those people. And right from the start, I had an issue with that. Yeah, because I'm the first I'm actually an in insurance salesman. I was for this is what the my job that I learned, and people knew me as that. They came to me and said, hey, I need a health insurance or something like that. And then I started with network marketing, and this was always an issue. And I know this breaks the natural habit of the network marketing industry, because network marketing should always be duplicatable and something like that. But I think that the time changed, and if you really want to achieve something, you have to be you have to be different, and because most network marketing companies they teach you how to be the perfect rep, but not to be the perfect leader, or to become and develop like to develop a leader, or to become a leader. And so that was my intention, to break through, yeah, because I saw a lot of people, and in my first network marketing industry, they did a great they had a great income, but they sold a product, yeah, and that's it, yeah. And so I thought, okay, you have to break out, and this thought in my head was always, in Germany it doesn't work that way. And I had some times when I built up my business, I was in the city, and did cold personal prospecting. I had a business suit on and a tie, and then I went through the city, the shopping miles, and talked to people. And this was a very very awful experience, and so you get a lot of negativity, of course. But I think when I think back to that, it had a tremendous impact on me, and I don't regret it that I experienced those things. But it's all about breaking patterns, of course. That's my intention, to be always different. And that's why I have my beautiful wife. She goes all the way with me, and she agreed from day one to be different, and that's awesome. So this makes also a lot of impact, and influences your success, that your spouse or your wife or your husband is always with you and supports you, and helps you when you have a negative experience or have a bad day. Then you can go to your partner and talk with him, or with her, and then you feel better, because your partner, your spouse, is understanding you with everything you experience.
That's pretty amazing, because I think one of the biggest ways I've got over negative and like conflict situations is I dated people and they made me feel better about, even if I was doing something that wasn't going anywhere, they make me like I could talk to them and say, like, this happened, that event happened, and suddenly it didn't matter as much as I thought it did. So I think it's all about just putting what you want to do in perspective. And like you were saying, people were being taught how to be the best reps. To me, I want to be the best me. I want to be the best Kareem, brand myself the best, learn the best speaking skills, learn the best ways to present myself. And then really the product could be anything. I could be selling like pennies, but the fact of the matter is that people build that relationship with me. It's not so much the product, it's about what's in you. But the hard part, conflict, comes in is when you start really being you, people either like that or they're very distant from it. Like when they find out the true colors of who we are, sometimes it scares them. or sometimes they embrace it. But regardless of what they do, you have to be willing to accept this is who I am, and I'm not going to worry about the feedback.
And that's exactly what you said. And I think this is for me it's very important to brand yourself, because you don't know. I went through in this decade. I'm in this network marketing industry. I went through 6 companies. I think it's six companies. Now I'm in that company where I'm involved now for about 3 years. But you have to find your home, and I think when you brand yourself as a leader in this industry, then you're independent from every company you're involved in or any income stream you're doing, because people don't follow your income stream or the product you promote. They follow you, and this is, I think, a huge security for your business, for your own business, for you Inc. Yes. So that's why I did it.
Wow.
And
Right.
what I think, you see, my English is not all the time the best. I'm sure that I do that I do a lot of grammatical garbage, but I think you get my ideas. And this is what I think is stretching all the time this is very huge for me to be in a hangout in an international hangout, and to share my experience, to share what I think, and this is awesome for me. And I think and what motivates me and inspires me is that I think there are only a handful of people here in Germany who are doing this as well, and this is pumping me up.
That's amazing, yeah. When people tell you to be one of the few, they're like, how many people can accomplish that? I am.
That's it.
And honestly, like, we have people from all different countries and people from all different parts of the U.S. here gathered to learn and gathered to, like, better themselves. So there really is a strong, like, energy going here, and anyone who tells me, now I'm confident. Before I wasn't, when I started network marketing even, or trying to do my own stuff, people were always making fun of the fact that, oh, he's an entrepreneur, or, oh, you know, how much money are you making yet? And they would always, like, bug me with that. And eventually I said, it doesn't matter. As long as I'm doing and enjoying what I'm doing on the journey, I'll get there. I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't know what it's going to look like. That's part of the fun in it. But that's really how I avoided problems with other people when I was messaging them with, like, an opportunity or something I wanted to do. It's interesting to find that when you really just start being yourself, you don't really have to answer to anybody.
No.
I found that when I started to break away from the societies, the way they think, and I was like, when I was little, I wanted to be a surfer, and then I saw their lifestyle, like in the 70s and stuff like that. And even though, like, I was a surgical assistant for 25 years, I made sure that the hospital was near a surf break, you know, because I wanted to continue surfing with my wife. Yeah. And once I started to break away from the mentality, the regular mentality of society, I started to have success with myself. I started to get out of debt. I started to make money. I started to do the things that I love every day, that I want to do every day, not the things, oh, you have to do this, Rick, you have to do that. No, you have to share this and do that and do that. I'm dropping things every day that I don't need to do because they're not productive. You know, I'm more like, even now at 57 years old, I'm more leaning into, well, why do we do that? It's not doing anything. We should go surfing. We should go to the beach. We should go here. We should go there, you know? And it's working out very well to break away from society. I mean, I've been a surfer for 30 years, and I figured it out, how to get out of debt and how to get my ass up and pull myself away from the mentality of society and not live a life of debt and a spiritual life of debt and not keep going in debt. And in order to do that, I had to get my act together and clean my shit up, you know, and it wasn't easy. because I was carrying all the baggage, like David Paul says. I had a wheelbarrow and stuff strapped on my back, you know. I had to get rid of all that stuff. Kareem, he's so far ahead from the way he thinks and what he's been doing and how he's doing it from what I was at his age, man. I just love being around him because I'm like, yes, go, you know. But I was just trying to share a little bit about myself with you and what I went through, and it's still sort of conflicting because my family goes, well, I see you're still surfing on the beach. Hell yeah, I'm still surfing on the beach, dude. What? Are you kidding? I'm 57 years old. I'm going to be surfing it on the beach when I'm 100, dude. What? You know? I've only started. It's only 30 years now. I got like, I don't know, 50, 60, 70, 80 more to go. Now that I finally started to wake up and figure out what the hell's going on. The cosmic drama. Just like he said, it's all cosmic drama. It's something for us to play with. You don't got to worry about it. It's like in this physical reality, we get all the tools, you know, to play with, and we can do whatever we want. You don't got to take it that serious. You're not, you know, you're only going to be here a couple hundred years or whatever, so take your tools out, play with them, have fun, don't get too serious, you know. Kareem does, he has this electric guitar. Right? Yes.
I do, yeah, and I'll be playing till I'm 100, hopefully.
If you have any evil spirits around your house, go to YouTube, type in Arms of the Messiah, turn it up. That'll scare everything away right there. Right, Kareem?
Yeah.
I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you, man. I love you.
But yeah, like you said, I'm going to be playing guitar, hopefully, till I am 100 or over that. You know, heck, do some Qigong, last a couple extra 100 years. So I think the point of the whole idea, though, is we have all this, we think we have all this time, and we just procrastinate and say, well, I'll get to my dreams later. I'll do the hangout later. I'll learn how to play guitar or surf later. Why not just do it now? Why do you want to wait? Just start. Yeah, there's people who tell you no, but that's part of getting over the conflict as well. It's just saying, I'm going to do what I want to do because I want to do it. As long as you're not hurting anybody.
Yes, and Kareem, I wanted to comment on what you were saying about the personality colors, and that is true. That is that's how we deal. The way we behave around people is a lot of times, and do the things we do is because of our personality colors. Like me, for instance, I don't like conflict. My personality color does not like conflict. And I also was told I never knew how to answer, are you making any money? My mother and I was concerned about that, and a couple of friends, and it is a hard thing to do. You wonder what to say, and they're like, well, I don't want to join that. You know, you're not making any money. And of course, if you talk to your life insurance representative, I belong to New York Life, you know, what is she going to think? Well, you're not making any money. I have another appointment there September 15th. So, and also, Rick, I've been wanting to get away from society all of my life. I've always been my own person, so I know where you're going with that as well.
I just say when people say you're making any money, I'm like, not really the kind I want, but I'm learning skills to do it. And that's what they don't get. They think like, oh, well, you know, I'm just going to show up and someone's going to like throw hundreds and be like, yeah, join, woo. And that's probably a bad thing if that happens, because you're not learning anything valuable. Like to really acquire money or anything that's good, anything of value, you need to get skills of value. You need to learn how to, you know, speak in public. You need to learn how to get prospects. You need to learn maybe some tech skills, some SEO. Not that I'm saying you like have to sit there and be a master at keywords or a master at speaking, but you need to get some skills that other people would like to enjoy, and then the money comes after that. Because really money is just an exchange for value, and value is just created by skills. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with Kareem. It's totally true. And then when you set your life up, you know, to me, like I didn't have my life set up the right way before. I had to make a lot of money just to live. How much are our bills now? I know she doesn't want to say this. How much are they? $500?
No.
No? Less? More?
No less.
Less than $500 a month living on. Yeah, we could have more food or whatever you want. We could spend more money, but $500 a month, our place is paid for. What the hell? People pay that.
Awesome.
People pay that for their car. You know. But
And their phone.
And their phone. Oh my God! What are they doing?
Yeah.
Oh, and I know. That's what I'm saying. That we had to break away from that crap. Hell, I want to go in debt. Maybe we should get a new car. Pay payments. No. Maybe I should take a loan and get some new surfboards because mine got a little dent in. Can I, honey? No. You know, so we sort of. I mean, I'm not cutting it down. Credit, mortgage, all like that. We've been there. We know.
Yeah.
I think we.
My bills are more than 500 just in my rent.
Oh, God. I think it's all a scam. It's like go into debt, get a job, pay off the debt, get more debt, get a job, pay off the debt, get a job.
That's
I'm thinking, like, that's a... And people are like, no, MLM's a scam. The Power Hour, you know, this and that. You can't do it online. It's a scam. I'm like, yeah, because going to your slave job every day is great. Pay off that debt yet?
Yeah, and I think that this ties into what we're learning in Exercise 2, Chapter 2 of Pay Me What I'm Worth. What are your skills? How do you see your skills, and how do you apply those skills? And Soul Dancer says we have thousands of skills. And I agree with him, because do you know how much skill it takes to even be able to talk? Move your hands, move your eyes, breathe, walk, get up, drive a vehicle, ride a bike, play an instrument, make a sandwich, you know, lift up a cup to put it to your mouth to take a drink of something. I mean, move your toes without thinking about it, move your fingers, you know, all that stuff takes skill. Our bodies are the most complex organisms, one of the most complex organisms on the planet. Same with our minds. So our skills inventory is massive. And I really enjoyed completing exercise, or the first part of Chapter 2's exercises, which I already have up on my blog, and Pay Me What I'm Worth if you guys want to go check that out. And I really love this exercise, because I'm going to be adding more to that blog as I think of more skills that I possess. And obviously me and Kareem and all of you have such a great set of skills to be here masterminding. That takes a lot of skill, because it starts with self-awareness and self-discovery, that you want something more, that you are something more than just your 9-to-5 slave job that you can't stand going to every day. And that's where it all starts, is inside of you, and looking at your life and saying, well, I want this to be better, and I know it can be better, so I'm going to learn the skills to make it better. And it all starts with rediscovering who you are as a person, because when you know, if I like to call it decay, you know, if you've got growth decay and you're not growing and evolving and learning constantly, then you're in decay. There's either evolving or decay. And if you stay in the middle, then that's I call that stagnation. And it happens, and it happens to the best of us, and some people don't even know what's happening. So I hope that through doing this show, we're able to educate people on how to become, to get into the evolution cycle again and the growth cycle again, so that they can make those positive changes that they want to see within themselves. I really hope that that's what happens with this. And David, Paul, you were unmuted there. Did you want to add something?
The topic, just to kind of maybe put a bow on this, was all about avoiding conflicts, and also what do we do to resolve conflict. And, you know, isn't it interesting that each of us here, to the person, we have developed enough skill to be able to come onto a forum like this and to be able to find harmony with each other, which is a major skill in terms of conflict prevention. We learn how to be in harmony. We learn how to accept ourselves. We learn how to use 2 ears and a mouth. It's amazing. And those are great. Those are amazing skills. that I think a lot of times we can take for granted, but when we stop and we take a look at those skills that will move, people would call them hard skills to learn. I worked with many thousands of people who don't have the ability to learn those skills, and have a block in not learning. So I don't take anything for granted. I'm always so grateful for, and also grateful for the opportunity to explore what else is there that I didn't know about myself and you. So it's really exciting.
Yeah. Yep, it's a constant process, I think, and you look at all the great people of the world, the great people, the influencers, inspirational people, and they never stop learning, they never stop growing, and I think that that is the most vital piece to the puzzle, is that you look at yourself and your life and go, okay, what do I want to change about this? You know, and I've just started on my journey with Pay Me What I'm Worth, and it's only been 2 months, and I'm telling you, man, I just look forward to that class every Wednesday, and I look forward to the value that I'm going to get out of each class, and doing the exercises in our workbook is so important to me. And I hope that people don't miss the point when they sign up with Pay Me What I'm Worth, that it's not about you making money right away, or you know, it's about just uncovering layers of yourself. This course is about working on you. And you can't have a sense of entitlement to be on any kind of, you know, all the stuff we do with Pay Me What I'm Worth, the blog talk radio, that's perks. Those are perks. They are not mandatory. And nobody has entitlement in that course, and we're not entitled to anything. Sol is sharing that format with us, and he's agreed to share that with us, and I think that's very, very powerful, and I'm very grateful that he shares that opportunity with us. So just something that everybody should keep in mind when they join Pay Me What I'm Worth is, if you've got to be willing to put the work into yourself to get the results you're expecting from that course. So that's why I'm so getting so into myself and writing down all my skills and learning my skills more and more. Kareem, do you have anything you'd like to add before we close it out? Because I need to lay down, buddy.
No, thank you, Dada, Rick and Cheryl, Chris, Doug,
Patricia.
David H. Paul, obviously Cindy, Stefan, and Patricia for showing up.
Yes.
Just do a quick call to action here. If you go to the entrepreneurpowerhour.com.
Oh, there's bad echo.
Where is it from? Not sure. Well, just somebody mute out. Just real quickly. Okay, just thank you, Dada. Sorry about that. But if you just go to the entrepreneurpowerhour.com, just how it's spelled here, and you enter your first name and your email, I will send you what the show's topic's about and the videos we do. And they're also on YouTube, but this just helps. You just enter your name, email, click sign up. That's it for everything. If anyone has any closing thoughts now, that'd be fine, or we can just close it out. Sure. Okay. Later, guys.